They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, and art is no different. From sketches to pinups to everything in between, this is Behind the Art.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to this new video. In this video, I'm going to be showing off some sequential art. This is artwork that I did for an anthology last year. And this is work that I did for a comics group called Fugitive Poems. Fugitive Poems was created by Christian DeMatteo and James Lines. I met them on Twitter about 2 years ago, a little bit more than that maybe. And yeah, from the moment that I met them, they've been really supportive of my art, and we've been just hanging out, tweeting back each other stuff, and conversing in the posts and stuff. And I remember that at the start of the pandemic, um, Christian and James they had shared this idea with other people on other acquaintances, other friends that we had on Twitter about working together, collaborating, and getting some of the indie writers that were out there on Twitter and some of the indie artists that were out there, and sharing ideas and trying to like write short stories. And then Christian was overseeing the entire project, and I think it was at the end of 2020, right when the whole pandemic was like in full effect, that they put out this anthology book called Containment Breach. And I was really in awe. I was really happy, shocked, surprised in a great way, obviously, of the work that they did. They had a bunch of great stories from several different indie artists and writers. And when I saw that, and I saw that some of the people that had done jobs and that had done work for them were some of the friends that I had known on Twitter, I thought that maybe I could jump on board also and and get my foot in the door in some kind of way into making comics. And I got in contact with Christian, and I asked him straight up if he would let me do a story for the next installment. And he said, yeah, sure. And he was really excited. I was really excited about it. I was also very excited at the prospect of like getting to do some art for Fugitive Poems. And and yeah, and then months later, we finally get to it, and we get the book, right, which is right here. Here's Containment Breach, Myth Reborn. This is volume 2. The first one was published only digitally, I think. And I think that right now in the process of trying to make that also, get a physical copy of that book also. And yeah, here's their logo, Fugitive Poems. This is Christian and James. And yeah, this is the cover. This is the cover right here. And yeah, Comics Forged in Flames, Christian. So you can see that Christian and Mateo and James Lines. And yeah, so this is the book. And again, like Christian and James, their idea is to like just get a bunch of their friends, a bunch of their buddies, and on Twitter, and also up and coming talent for writers and artists, get them together and form teams. Like they'll get a writer and artist team and get a bunch of teams together, give them individual prompts, and then the team would have to work on that prompt and then make a short story out of it, which can be from 5 pages to the 10 pages, I think was the max that they had set for themselves. And yeah, anyways, and if you look at the credits at the very first page of this book, there's a bunch of names here. And if you look, Elliot Rodriguez, that's me. And yeah, it was a great honor. It was awesome to get to work with them. It was an immensely great learning experience also. And yeah, there's a lot of great art in here. Take a look at this. A lot of great stuff. Yeah, a lot of good stuff here. And then if you flip among this, if you look, I think I'm in the third story or second story, but you'll see this. And this right here is my story. Here's the art by me, and the story is by Ryan Burke. This was the writer that I was assigned, and he was assigned to me, and I was assigned to him. Um, and yeah, James and Christian thought it would be great. They put us together, considering the kind of writing that he does and the kind of art that I do. And yeah, and then the prompt that we got was metamorphosis. So yeah, each team had a different prompt. I don't know if they have a different prompt here. Okay, for example, here in this story, the prompt is the wrong Olympus. And then so forth. Every team has a different prompt, and the prompt here is stop a tragedy. Also, the prompts are different. So based on the prompts, the writers have to write their story. The artist has to draw it. And the thing is that for the prompts, you could work with anything that was related to a myth. I mean, like you could make your own myth. You could rework an existing myth, um, and or you could just just retell the same story from a myth that you already know about. And so yeah, once we got our prompt, we started throwing ideas back and forth, Ryan and I, and yeah, one of the really cool things about working with Ryan is that he gave me like almost complete like liberty to do whatever it is that I wanted to do, to draw whatever it is that I wanted to draw. And he asked me, like, what kind of things do you like to draw? And I told him, I was excited because myth is like right up my alley to considering what I wanted to do for my own comic. And I told him that, yeah, like I like drawing dragons and fantasy stuff, and so he went with that, and he wrote a story, using those kinds of elements, and yeah, he just let me flex, basically, because I was able to like draw stuff that I wanted, and which is great. And this is the actual, these are the pages that are in the book, and you can see here the story by see here, story by Ryan, art by Elliot. That's me. And yeah, so here's the art. I'm going to completely spoil this for you guys because the book's been out for a while, and yeah, I don't think this is a secret anymore. And you can still get a copy of this. This is on our website. So if you're interested, and I hope you are, then you can jump on and grab a copy for yourself and check it out. Not only my story, but the rest of the stories on here are also really good. And yeah, here's my fight scene, and here's this last scene here. And yeah, this is my first dab of sequential art that I've done, and it was great. It was great. So, but yeah, behind the scenes, I'm not just gonna show you the book. I'm gonna show you the actual pages. I tried to put the camera as far back as I could, but I think this is as good as I can get it. And yeah, I don't think I can get it any further away, but here are the actual pages. I would have liked this for you to see this like in its entirety, but I can only just show parts of it. Yeah, so here my folder I have on this left side, Saving the World, and this page that I did for them. There's a video about that on my channel. You can just dig back and look for Saving the World, behind the art, Saving the World. And I did that for Tonic Mole. That same year, I think, or earlier in the year. And yeah, here's the work that I did. This is page 1. And you can see the dragon. And you can see the carriage going down the road. You can see this little bird, which is central to the story. And then you have this panel here. I really enjoyed doing this panel. Really good stuff. I like that I was able to get in there with the details, and there's some good stuff on the bird, and look at that hair. So shiny. Every time I look at this, I'm thinking to myself of that commercial for Maybelline, maybe it's Maybelline. And yeah, no, this is funny. And this is dwarf with the cleanest hairs. But yeah, so there's the dragon. I had to edit this out. Like I whited this out when I teased this on Twitter and stuff. And yeah, because I didn't want to give away too much of the story. And so you have this moment here, and then the next page, you have this nice panel here with this dragon just blasting. Yeah, this dragon, yeah, a lot of work, a lot of hatching. I went all in with the scales. I drew every scale. And yeah, here's the fire blast. The face is very heavily inspired by Art Adams. If you take a look at his Instagram, you'll see that he's drawn a lot of Godzilla. He's done a lot of Godzilla drawings, and there's pictures of like Godzilla like shooting, facing the camera that I got for inspiration for this. But yeah, that's that. And here's his reaction. There's an explosion. It knocks him back. And he was able to grab his shield in time. And there he is in the wreckage. He's upset. And then the transformation begins. And this is our element of metamorphosis. So he transforms from this dwarf into this big old bear. Why a bear? I don't know. That's a pretty good question if you ask me why a bear, because I don't know. It's just a pretty cool animal. I think it was Ryan's idea. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was a great idea nonetheless. Big animal. Yeah, so here's the bird again. I'm sorry. Here's the bird again, right here. And then this panel here, the dragon is about to fight him. And then this kicks off the fight scene. And then the fight scene's on the next page here. And straight into the wall. Then the bear fights back right here. He's fighting back again, then bites the dragon. Yeah, I mean, I was always iffy of whether or not I should go all in with the scales or just like highlight it a little bit, but like something similar to this, like just a little bit dark and then let the lights erase the rest. But no, I just went all in. I went all in. I did every single scale, and I did what I could with that, and with the rendering on that. And he broke his neck there, and then there he is, dead. And then the bear realizes that he's been impaled, which seems, from that moment. And then the transformation reverts and goes back into the dwarf form with Maybelline hair intact. and then the bird's there. The bird's there throughout the story. And then we look at the next page, and then we see this. And then they're playing a board game. I think it's one of those tabletop games. I'm not sure. And the girl's sad that she lost. And then it pans out, and then we see the bird. And the bird is key. The bird is key to to the story, and it's just a great story. This is I had a lot of fun doing this. I'm sorry. I had a lot of fun doing this. It was a great learning experience for me. Before this, I hadn't worked with I don't know. I guess you can say like a real team of writers and editors, because there was a lot of people behind the scenes. It wasn't just me and the writer. It was a Christian who was the chief editor. You had Mark Capitelli, which is another editor. Then you had James, who's an artist and who on this project was an art director. And so there was a lot of people behind the scenes. And before this, I had worked only on Saving the World, and in Saving the World, it was just me and Cash and Chad. We were just bouncing ideas, and there wasn't really too much. There wasn't like this idea of I do a panel, I gotta submit it for feedback. I do a page, I gotta submit it for feedback. It wasn't like that. It was a little bit more freer in that sense, like you could say. But for this, no, this, everything I did had to go through checkpoints, I guess you could say. And there was a pencil stage, there was an ink stage, and then the coloring stage I wasn't involved with. But yeah, and I thumbnailed all this out for the first when I first started working on this, and I put on paper what I thought would look great, considering the story that Ryan had sent me. Ryan liked it. I sent it to Christian. Christian liked it, and then I started working on the pages, and it was fun. And then once I had all the pages done, I was like, okay, I'm gonna I'm sorry. Once I had inked my first, once I had penciled. I'm sorry. Once I had penciled my first page, I was like, okay, I'm gonna. It checked out. Everything was great. I'm going to go ahead and ink it. And and I told Christian that I was going to start the inking process, and he's like, wait, but where are the other pages? I was like, yeah, I'll get to them. I mean, the art is in the thumbnail, so I mean, I know what I'm going to do. And and um, and so I'm just gonna do that. Ink the first page, then ink the second page, ink the third page, and then work, like that. And he said, no, 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 we need to see all the pencils for everything first before you start inking. And I was like, what? And I'm incredibly new. I don't know if all publishers work like that, but it was new for me because normally, I mean, I don't have any kind of comic making experience, so I wouldn't know. So, but I was under the impression that you ink a page, then next page. That's what had happened in my mind. That's how I approached all of my art. Like I would just, if I have like a few pages to draw, I would do one and then finish it, go on to the second and finish it and whatnot. But in this case, no. In this case, I had to work according to what they wanted, and so I did all the pencils for everything. And I realized almost immediately like the benefits of doing that because when you have everything laid out, you know exactly where to trim, where to add, if this panel works, if that panel doesn't. Maybe you could change up the camera angle for one or the other, and it was incredibly valuable. And I really appreciate Christian. I mean, sorry, I'm sorry, James for doing that, and Christian also for asking me to do that. Because it also like helps to test the artist. If the artist is able to do that, then great. If they're not, then that speaks not too good of them, of the artist. So yeah, I was able to do that. I was able to draw all the pages the way that they had liked, and yeah, it was great. Then after I got the approval for the pages, I started inking, and yeah, then when I started inking page by page, and yeah, and I learned a lot from James. James is a really good art director. He's a really good teacher. He has a keen eye for what works on the panel and what doesn't, or how to improve things that you already have. And for example, in this scene, in these three panels, he had suggested the tread marks here because I had completely forgot to put that in there, and so he suggested that. Also, for example, when I had submitted this page, he told me this looks great, but just take a step back and take a look at the page, squint your eyes, and then try to see where the main black areas are. And when I did that, like I noticed that the dragon was this black was sorry, there was no black here. I saw darker areas here. I saw this black area here. I hadn't drawn the dragon at that time, and so this was really just like lines, not really mostly, no. And this was the same, but this was just a little bit lighter. It looked like this, but all the way out, all throughout the image. And so he said, yeah, just this looks great, but just go back and add some more blacks to help balance out the page, and balance out the page. And I was like, wow, okay, I got you. And so I was looking for places where I could do that. So I went back on this panel and I put some darker areas here. Did this piece here, added the dragon here. Then on this dragon here, I darked it out as much as I can, because my idea was to see, imagine the dragon flying by overhead, and so I also wanted to show off a little bit of the speed, so I wanted to have it like this, like dimmer color, but this helps give it more gravity to the image, and yeah, so and then for example, in these panels, I did these darker black lines here to try to indicate some kind of shadow. I didn't know what else to do with that because it's like a sunny. I'm imagining a sunny day, and this is the ground. So I mean, this would be pretty much lit up a lot. So I wasn't sure what more I could do with that. So yeah, and that's how this page came out, and it came out great. Here, there was no suggestions really. They were really happy with the dragon, happy with the explosion. I remember that in the writing, in the script, this page was only 2 panels. And I thought it would be a good idea to add this panel to see his reaction to this dragon coming at him. Um, I don't know, it could be necessary or not. We could probably done it without the panel, but I just thought it'd be pretty cool to include that. And Ryan said it would be okay, so I knew I also had this space here, so I know I could play with that. So that was pretty cool. And I like how it came out. And yeah, then we came to this page, and yeah, I don't think there was much. At least in these panels, there wasn't a lot. A recommendation. Um, yeah, no, just I inked this, and this is exactly how I had it planned out. These 3 panels. If I'm not mistaken, I think I added this one also. I'm not quite sure, but I'd have to look back and check. But I think I added that panel also, so you can see his face and the anger in his face. And yeah, this is the transformation. And something really interesting about this is like I had no idea how to approach this metamorphosis. Like even the metamorphosis aspect of the story, like really like boggled me a little bit, because I was like, how am I supposed to do this? Am I going to do it right? Am I going to do it justice? Because I had never drawn a transformation before. And so when I was looking for references for this, I was like, the reference I had to look for a reliable reference, and the thing that popped up in my head was Dale Keown and Hulk. And I was thinking to myself, like, I can't imagine a better artist who has drawn a transformation like that, you know. And yeah, I took a look at several of his pages, and I just studied it for a little bit and took a look at how he approached it and tried to do something similar. I was thinking in the back of my mind of like that I would have to like necessarily do like lighter lines, thinner lines to like in the to like show like a transparent transformation of sorts. But the way I saw Dale do it, he just drew 4 figures, like completely rendered out and stuff. So I went with that, because the reader can assume that he's transforming. It's not like there's 4 characters here standing behind each other like that. And yeah, and this is what I came up with. I used a lot of references for bears to give me a better idea of what to do, and yeah, then just my own imagination, of course. Now, so this is what I came up with. Looking back on it, I wish I probably would have done this a little bit differently, something a little bit more dramatic, where it like comes here and then just the transformation takes place over the whole page, something like that. I'm not sure, but because this looks very like linear, like this way, and then I'm leaving a lot of space here, so I don't know if that'd be a problem or not. I guess I leave space for the text and stuff like that. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think I could probably do a little bit more like this way. Something like that. But yeah, it came out great. I like how it came out. I started doing these black areas on the walls, to help balance everything out per James's suggestions from earlier. I blacked this out did a lot of blacks. And yeah, here's the last panel on that page. And in this panel, for example, James helped out a lot, because my original thumbnail, my original pencils just had the rock wall, and then the grass, the ground, and then the 2 figures like facing each other off. And then when I showed this to James, he told me, this looks great, but I think we should probably do something with the foreground, like draw a black area somewhere to indicate that the reader, to make the reader feel that they're in the scene, in the panel. And I was thinking of like, well, what could I draw? Like I could probably make it from like a worm's eye view, and then put some rocks here, or put some like leaves and stuff. But then looking closely at the story, I thought that it would be appropriate, or would be best to put debris from the shattered carriage. And so I did this thing here, and then went over it all in black, and yeah, it gives it a different feel altogether. I think it looks better. And this is the kind of thing, for example, that I really appreciate from James, because he's able to like give me a different view of the art, and that's why working on this project has convinced me that that it's good to have to work as a team with comics, to have another set of eyes take a look at your project, because they can always bring something different to the table. That something different could be good or could be bad. You could agree with it or you could disagree with it, but it's another idea that's out there, another way of approaching the story, and it could be beneficial. And in this case, it was. All of the suggestions that I got from James just helped to reinforce and improve the art, which yeah, I think it was great, and it was a great experience. And yeah, shout out to James and to Christian for all of their work and their help for this. It was really good stuff. And then here's page 4. Also about the page count, I would have loved to have done 10 pages. I kept saying this over throughout the project, but I was very limited with time. Remember that I don't draw 8 hours a day. I draw maybe 2 or 3 hours a day if I can get that kind of time. And so doing 5 pages was a challenge. I did this, I think, in about a month and a half, which is it's ridiculous to professional standards, but I'm not a pro, so I just do the best I can with the time that I'm given. So so I'm really proud of this work because of what I was able to do, considering the limitations of time that I had. And so yeah, so this is the next page. This is the first panel. Yeah, and everything here is exactly as I imagined it. If this page seems a bit abrupt, then I mean that's my fault, because I would have loved, for example, to have this span out over maybe 2 or 3 pages, but again, the time limit, the limitation, couldn't let me do more. So the fight scene was written for one page, and at least this part of the fight scene was written out in 1 page, and so I had to make do with what I had. Like I probably could have expanded this on another page, but I just didn't have the time to do that. So it's not the writer's fault in that case. It's not the editor's fault. It's just me that I just couldn't do more with this fight, because I probably could have expanded this out a little bit more and done something really a little bit better. Because if you look at this fight, it's just the dragon knocks him into the wall. The bear hits twice. The bear bites the neck. The dragon's dead. Fight's over. In the matter of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels, the fight's over. And so I probably could have expanded that out a little bit more, make it a little bit more dramatic. But yeah, I think I did great with what I had. So there's that first blow. The dragon gets 1 blow in. Then the bear fights back, gets 2 blows, and then snaps the neck here. At least that's what I was going for. Maybe it doesn't look like that, but I was going for a snapping of the neck here. And then he has to revert back. So the fight, and then reverting back to his human form. And yeah, I went all out, did everything. The recommendation that I got on this page was these 2 panels. I originally had it drawn to where that the bear in this panel was like slapping upwards at the dragon. So it's gonna be like a 2 slap kind of thing here. But with the way I had it drawn out, the first thing James said was like, rework one of those panels because they look like mirror opposites of each other. So try to change one out so it doesn't look almost like an exact copy or a mirror effect of the other. And I hadn't thought about that at all. So, which is why it's great to have these second eyes on these projects. And so, yeah, I picked one. I wanted to keep this, because I really like that look on that bear's face. He looks really angry, like he's like just had enough. And so I reworked this one, tried to make it seem that he's getting struck in the back. The scales are falling off. And yeah, and then when I resubmitted this, James liked it, and we kept it that way. And then went with that. And then yeah, then everything else here was pretty cool. Like the hatching that I did here. Got sweet hatching. Hatching always excites me. But yeah, then that's that page, and then this page, yeah, this is exactly what Ryan had written out. Just one thing that's different from what he had originally had written out to what I put here was the crowd. and I didn't realize this until after I had suggested it to him in the thumbnails. But the way that Ryan had envisioned it was they were playing, and it was just the two girls and then the moderator, and then the surprise on the girl's face, and then this reaction, and I thought it would just be like it would be like greater stakes, I guess you could say, if this was played out like in front of a crowd. And so when I thumbnailed this, I did this image. I put these people in the back, and yeah, and Ryan liked the idea, and then we put it in, and then it came out good. And this panel was a challenge because of all the faces, all the people. But I mean, I wanted to make it look good, and so I like how it came out. And here's the girl is sad, and then her friend consoling her, and then the last panel here, and then you see the bird. And I really like this panel. I think this is my favorite panel from the entire short story. I really like what I did with this bird, the leaves, and the tree, the branch here on the tree, and yeah, I think it looks great. I think it looks really good. And just one thing that is one mistake that I didn't notice until after the book came out was on this page. I don't think even Christian or James or Ryan has become aware of this, but I'm going to reveal this to you right now. Hopefully I don't destroy the story for you, but yeah. All right, so we see this. She's playing. We see this. We see these two people. We see the guy, this computer-looking piece, then the figures, the cards, the paper, and then this board here. We see this, and then we see indications of that board right here. We see the dragon. That's supposed to be this. And then when it pans out, everything is there except the board. And I swear I had no idea. Excuse me. I swear I had no idea that this mistake was there until like after I got the book in my hand, and it wouldn't have become apparent if it weren't for the colors, I think, because there's that big white thing there. There's a white thing here, and then where is it? It's not there. And man, that bugged me for a long time. I was like, oh man, I wish there was some way I could just go back and draw that in there and then send the files back to him and then print it out again. But yeah, I don't know if Christian or James has become aware of that. Apparently not. Probably. I mean, I'm pretty sure they would have told me something about it. But look at that though. Like I made that kind of mistake, and it went through James, it went through Christian, it went through Mark, which is the other editor, went through Ryan, went through me. Like just man, and but those kinds of things happen, I guess. No, I mean it's very minor. Also, I mean the story still stands. It doesn't affect the story that much, but yeah, and there's that mistake right there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This is my Sequential Art edition of Behind the Art. I hope you can understand the time that I took to explain this is a little bit longer than my other videos are for this series. But yeah, I think the pages warranted that. There's a lot of art here, a lot of great stuff, and yeah. So if you want, you can still grab a copy of this book. It's on their website. Fugitive Poems they have their own website. You can get this book. You can also get the volume. You also get volume 1. Both of these are also in the digital format. So if you don't want the physical book or pay for shipping and things like that, you can get digital formats also. And yeah, and I have another piece for Fugitive Poems that I'm going to do later down the road. I did a variant cover for them for one of their stories. But I'll get into those details later. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. And yeah, so this is the art, Bear versus Dragon, in Containment Breach, Volume 2. Art by Elliot Rodriguez, stories by Ryan Burke. Really cool guy. And yeah, I think that's about it. I don't think there's anything else more to say. Really good stuff. Yep, there you go right there. Now the rest of this I have empty. I'm gonna fill out with the pages that I'm working on now, but I'll talk to you about that later. And this is Gino and Shorty. I'll talk about that later also. But yeah, so that's it. Thank you very much. I hope you liked. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button. Also, share the video out. Tell all your friends about me, and then also subscribe to the channel. Once I get to 500, which is the immediate goal, I guess we can say, I could start posting bits like this on YouTube, and then so you guys can take a look at that. With that community tab, I want to get that community tab open so we can so I can start sharing more of my art on YouTube, and I think I might become exclusively YouTube after a while. But yeah, so that's it. So please hit the like button, share this out, tell your friends about me, and don't forget to tune in every Wednesday for the morning show. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day. Take care. Goodbye.